As much as I love teaching, there are times when this job sucks. And it's frustrating. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And
Hi guys, welcome back. Long time no talk. I am not even going to try to apologize for my absence because honestly, I don't feel like I really need to apologize for being gone. I have been in full hunker down survival mode since the beginning of this school year. It actually started even before the beginning of the school year. I had a couple of medical procedures that I needed to have done, which cut into my getting ready time before the start of the school year. So usually I'm in my classroom, a week or more before the school starts to get things ready and get things rolling. This year I had 2 days to be in my room before school started, and because of my pain level, I was only here for like 4 hours both of those days. So thank the Lord that in June of last year, I had all my decorations up at least. So I didn't have to walk in and assemble an entire classroom. That was a blessing, but still things like getting my leveled library taken care of, building a bookshelf, putting together organizational things, nothing was ready. Nothing was done. I was overwhelmed. And then, as you guys know, I left 4th grade last year. I'd spent the last 3 years in 4th grade, and I had 4th grade down. It was down, ready to go. I went back to 1st grade, and I chose to go back to 1st grade. I wanted to go back to 1st grade. And I won't lie, I spent the first week of this school year going, I asked for this. I got it. What did I do? This is not my first time in 1st grade. It's actually my 9th year in 1st grade. It's been a while since I've been in 1st grade, but it is my 9th tour of duty in 1st. And I mean, I really thought, I'm a pro at 1st grade. Well, I was a pro at 1st grade, but I've been out of the game for a little while. And also we got a new reading curriculum, a new writing curriculum. We made other changes in the curriculum. So it was like being a 1st grade teacher again for the very first time in some regards. Also, I have never had a 1st grade classroom with 17 children who don't understand English. I figured out pretty fast in that first week that I did have like 9 or 10 who really didn't have a command of the English language. But the other 7, I thought knew English. I was mistaken. They really only knew a tiny bit of conversational English. May I go to the bathroom? Is it time for lunch yet? Yes, no, my favorite color is blue. But once you went past that little bit of conversational English, once you went into academic language, that's when you realize, oh, no. These children actually are ESL, like really extreme ESL as well. So 17 kids in this room don't understand me on a day-to-day basis. I have 31 kids in here, so I mean that's more than half. Also this year, I have a Down syndrome child in my classroom for the first time. And she is adorable. She's just this tiny little peanut, and she's sweet and cute and precious. But, she requires a lot of attention, a lot of assistance. I do have a full-time parapro who's in here just to help her. So that helps a lot. But a lot of the time, I feel like I'm competing. Imagine your 1st grade classroom right now and put a puppy in your 1st grade classroom, and the puppy's got free range. And now you're trying to keep the other 30 children's attention on you because you've got important stuff to accomplish. Well, the other 30 kids aren't really paying attention to you because they're watching the cute little puppy that's running around the classroom. Well, that's kind of how my Down syndrome child is. She's just adorable toddler, just constantly on the move around the room, doing her own thing. She loves to give kisses. She loves to give hugs. She loves to give the raspberry, but I'm competing with this, trying to keep their attention on me. So the first 5 weeks of school was rough. just really, really rough. And I would come home at the end of the day and I would just sit down and just be like, it was like every day I came home, I felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck. And then a lot of you were commenting, Tina, we know you're busy, but can you please vlog on the weekends? Well, Monday through Friday, I would get home from work, and while I'm at work, I can't get anything done. I mean, I was living in the moment. Every moment, just getting the copies made that I needed for that day, just getting this ready for what I need for that day. I was trying to get my library leveled. I was trying to build a book. It took me 4 weeks to build a bookshelf. It's not even a big bookshelf, but literally it took me actually not 4 weeks, it took me 3 weeks to get the bookshelf built. So vlogging in here until now, impossible. And then lesson planning, grading, trying to get my reading groups established, trying to get routines, all of that was going home. So I was working till like 9, 10 o'clock at night, every night for school the next day. So I don't know if you guys have been following me for a while. I'm a type A personality all the way. I like routine, I like structure, I like predictability. I don't do well in chaos. I don't. And yet for the first 5 weeks of school, let me tell you, they've been pretty chaotic. There's been multiple interruptions, things are going on. I'm ready to take a hammer to my classroom phone because I swear to God that thing goes off all the time. But anyway, last week was the first week where I finally started to see some success. It's like I was finally teaching, they were finally listening, they were finally making connections to the content, and I was like, okay, it's finally starting to fall into place. Thank goodness. So I am back. I am vlogging. I will be straight up honest. I will probably be vlogging, I'll probably be putting up 1 vlog a week this year. In previous years, I was putting up 3 vlogs a week, 2 vlogs a week. I was knocking them out left and right. This year, if you guys get 1 a week, I will feel like I have accomplished something because I have very little time during the school day to do this. In fact, some of this might actually be happening at home. But I am not even, just for my own sanity, I'm not even going to try to do 2 vlogs a week. I'm really not, I watch Pocket Full of Primary, Michelle, and I watch Bridget. I don't know how Bridget does it because Bridget's got 2 kids too. But like Michelle, she doesn't have any children of her own. She pulls all-nighters. She stays up till 6 o'clock in the morning and then goes straight to work. I can't do that. I'm old. I'm not old. I'm older. I do have children. I have rheumatoid arthritis. It requires that I take care of myself. So I just don't have the energy level to try to do what those girls are doing. I'm going to do the best I can do, and hopefully this year I won't have a mental breakdown like I did last year. But yes, I want to try to be back. I really do, because I miss vlogging. I like vlogging, I do. It's just, it wasn't even an option until today. So I'm going to stop talking though because I am chewing up my morning time, and I do have 1,001 things to do because it is a Monday morning and I need to get ready for my munchkins to come into my classroom today. Hello again. I have a few minutes before the kids walk in, and I'm just trying to get my week set up here by getting all of my daily trays filled up with what I need. So, continuing on the line of crazy. Another part of the reason why this year has been hard is because I swear every single day this year I've had to revamp the schedule somehow, some way. Part of the problem was I just have so many children who get pulled. When you have 17 ELL students, the ESL teachers, they just can't take your whole group at once. They're taking, 8 at this time, 4 at this time, 6 at this time, especially because they're putting them in groups at their ability level. Again, 7 of my ESL students have conversational English, whereas and then the other 10, 4 of those 10 are truly no English, like no English at all. Yes, no, bathroom. That's like the extended English. And then the other 6 can understand some simple directions. So I had 3 ESL times. Then I had my Title I pull-out time where 5 kids were leaving the room. Then I have 2 students who receive speech. Then I have my special ed student who leaves in the afternoon and is gone all afternoon, which honestly that one's fine because she's not expected to master the content we're covered in the classroom anyway. She has her own IEP and her own content goals. But it got to the point where I had so many children leaving the classroom so often that I couldn't teach math, because math is the one subject I need to have the entire class present for math. You have to have them all for math time. And I never had a full class of students for a stretch of time long enough to actually teach math. And so finally I emailed all of these teachers and said, guys, we got to somehow work together here. I need a better schedule. I mean, I had revamped my daily schedule at least 12 times already this year. And at the end of the day, it didn't really matter how I vamped that schedule. I did not have a stretch of time large enough to teach math. I did it. I need 75 minutes, an hour 15, really, to teach the math program effectively. It's everyday math, which has a nickname of all-day math. I don't find it takes all day, but I do need 70 minutes. And I need to have all the children present because even though they're only first graders, when they're third graders, they will be expected to take the M-STEP test. And they will be expected to, show growth on math performance. So I really have to have them all here for that one. So finally, Wednesday, I tell you about it was last week, Wednesday, I managed to make some changes, get schedules changed, swap times with other teachers, and I now have it. I have a window that I can teach math in. But that was a big part of the problem. Every day felt like the first day of school because every day I would start without having a real routine or schedule in place. And it was just madness for me because I don't fly by the seat of my pants. That's not how I teach. That's not how I do my life in general. Again, I need a routine. I need structure. I need to know what to expect next. So luckily for this week, I'm starting a Monday, and I'm hoping and praying that the schedule we got in place Wednesday and Thursday of last week will just be the schedule I have the whole 5 days this week, because I've yet to have a week where all 5 days we did the same thing at the same time. It has not happened. That was the bell. It's time to get my munchkins. The kids are at lunch, and I just finished eating my lunch myself. I will say, when I was in 3rd and 4th, it was just a couple of us had the same lunch hour, and a lot of us, we just kind of kept to ourselves during lunchtime. We would eat together like once or twice a week, usually in my room, but then a lot of the days we would use our lunchtime to work. Well, now my lunch period is with the K-1-2 teachers, and we're a real social bunch. And so a lot of the times I kind of feel obligated, like I really should go eat with the girls, even though sometimes I would really like to be in my room. So what I've done is I've kind of compromised that I'll go in there for the first half of my lunch and eat real quick, talk to the girls for like 15 minutes, and it's like, okay, gotta go, bye. And then I'll rush back to my room so I can continue to do the things that I need to do in my room. I am going to give you a very quick room tour. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this forever. Also, I will be brutally honest right now, my room's a bit of a mess. With this group this year, I swear, my room is always a mess, and it drives me crazy, but there's like nothing I can do about it because in first grade, the activities happen so quick and so fast that you're grab this, grab the next thing, dump that. So at the end of the day, I'll take some time and put it all together to get it ready for the next day. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and go through the room real quick. Here's the door where the kids come in. We have the trash can, big whoop. And then here's my new bookshelf. This is the one that took me weeks to put together. Yeah, seriously. The whole thing was probably about a 25-minute job. and I didn't get a chance to put this together until like week 3. Here is one of my lanterns with my flameless candles, and then a little chalkboard, which has nothing on it at the moment, some flowers. And then up here we have, I use my windows. If you remember from last year, half the window is open where you can, open it and see the daylight. But then the other side, I always use it as bulletin boards just for lack of space. We have our thinking anchor chart here, 5-finger retells, more anchor charts, read to self. On the windows, I have the little toppers that I made last year that I love. And then I painted all of my bins black, which I like the black better, although I will say I am a little disappointed because the paint is chipping. So that is a bit of a bummer. I have my Kindles all plugged in and charging. That is a hot mess. I've got to find something to make this neater because, yeah, it's a hot mess. Moving over here, I replaced all of my busted trays from last year. My trays last year were just all broken and they wouldn't stack anymore. So I got these from Amazon, and if I can remember, I will link them in the description box below. I love these. It's got steel supports on the side, and they're so much stronger and sturdier compared to the little flimsy trays that I had there from Staples. And then I actually have a spare tub here with nothing even in it at the moment, because I did buy from Amazon new ones of these, because if you remember last year I had milk crates, and so I would literally just stack 2 milk crates, but then everything would fall out and it was a huge mess. This is so much nicer. The materials are just stacked inside and they're kept tidy and clean. We have buckets on every table that the children keep their pencils, crayons, scissors, and glue sticks in, although I tend to not put the glue sticks and the scissors in the buckets because they just play all day. So my scissors and glue sticks are actually in here. And then, oh, that was really good. Okay, take 2. As I was saying, my scissors and glue sticks are in here. So this way I can just pass them out real quick. And under my scissors are my whiteboards that we use. This right now is a mess because for the last 3 years, my whole life revolved around this cart, because this was my 4th grade reading library and it was leveled to perfection. But now, my students won't be reading any of these books. So I took most of my 4th grade books home and put them in my basement, because I'm sure there will come a day when I will need them again if I should go to 3, 4, or 5. So I took all of my chapter books home with the exception of ones that I want to read to the class this year. But this thing right now serves no purpose in the room, yet I really don't want to get rid of it. And there's really not a practical way for me to put that thing in my car and take it home either. So what I've really been using it for is to block this door. Because it's on wheels, in the event of an emergency, you can move it out of the way super fast. I mean, it's a piece of cake to move it. But my child with Down syndrome likes to book it out of the room on occasion. And so we keep this door, the cart in front of the door, so she can't escape. Honestly, that's why it's there. It blocks the door. It's not a hazard because we can just move it real simple and use that door should need be. But for her safety, we keep it blocked and we focus on this door over here only, and that's been working a lot better. She doesn't escape the room as often. So moving back around the room, you will see my big shelving unit with the black shower curtain on it. Telephone is on that unit right there. Still have my daily 5 thing, although we don't really use it that much. Schedule, phone numbers right there on the wall. We just finished math, so we were using this 100 chart. More anchor charts. Mess. It is what it is. It's a mess. This is still my teacher space over here, and it may not look organized, but it really is, I swear. It's just, it is a bit messy right now. My PC is right here. My table, as you can see, like I said, we just finished math. We were using pennies and game pieces. And Bridget, love this thing. Use it all the time. This is a new addition for me this year. I actually saved up and invested in an iPad. It is a game changer. It really is. I love it. I also got the keyboard that goes with it. Our reading and math, no, our reading and writing doesn't actually have a teacher's manual. It's all digital. It's all on the internet. And so I can't very well pick this up and walk around the room with it. And the Kindle couldn't do what I was using a Kindle in here for years for my own personal use, but the Kindle couldn't do what I needed it to do. So I got the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, which is pretty close to the size of a piece of paper. I can now put this thing in my hand, walk around the room, and I've got all my directions and everything I need right there, because it is a very detail-oriented lesson plans, and you need access to it. You really do, because halfway through what you're doing, you're like, hey, what am I supposed to do next? And you need to be able to look at it. Also, our math is also available on the iPad. So I'm using the iPad for my math teacher's manual, reading and writing. I really am. And trust me, if I could get science and social studies on the thing, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Coming back around, I have all my drawers over there. This from last year, it's going to be our math bulletin board. And so right now, the only thing on it is the 120 chart and the clock. But as the year goes by, more things for math will go up there. Here are all of our book boxes going all the way down the row. And a lot of you said last year, my lunch is almost over, down like my last 2 minutes. Last year, a lot of you said that I should have returned those and got like 1 or 2 uniform colors. I'm actually really happy I didn't, that I have as many colors as I do, because it makes it easier for the children to find them. This way, Sarah knows that her bucket is pink. So there's only like 3 pink buckets there. One of the pink buckets is going to be hers. So it really does make it easier for the kids to find them. Coming back here, here's my fireplace. Here is our back table. This whole table typically gets used for my child with Down syndrome, because she's very active and she requires a lot of space. And then this is the pit. I freely acknowledge it is a pit. I hate it. I've tried tidying it, but in 3 days, it looks like a pit again, because again, this is her area, and she just, as soon as I fix it, she like remesses it up, and I've kind of abandoned hope. Coming over to our library, this is my new leveled library over here, and I've got my book baskets all set up. And then down here, I have books that are not leveled. The books on the bottom, we have fall, winter, spring. So that's like all of the holiday books in there. And then some other books that the kids love to have real quick. And then my chair and my easel. And I apologize, this is a really rush job. And then this is our big carpet area right here, where I will pull the whole class together. And then behind the library, you will find the coat hooks for them to store their stuff. And with that, I gotta turn this off because I gotta go get my kids. The day is over. My kids just went home, and it's funny because as I was giving a quick tour of the room earlier, I felt so guilty that the room was such a mess. I like buckled down during my prep, and I like got to work cleaning. So here is that corner that was the pit. It now looks a lot better. It's a lot tidier. I got the floor clean. I would like to say that it'll stay that way, but I don't know. I still never even got to my table. My table is still a hot mess. It is what it is. I'm gonna spend about 5 minutes tidying it up right now. And I did get a lot of work done in my library. I have been busting my butt trying to get all my books leveled for Reader's Workshop. And again, for 4th grade, I had a beautiful library. Everything was perfect. Everything was labeled by DRA 2 levels. 1st grade, none of my books were leveled. They weren't leveled. So it's been a ton of work. I will say though, I am using an app that is a lifesaver. It's called Lit Leveler. And you just go to the App Store, you download it, Lit, L-I-T, next word, Leveler, L-E-V-E-L-E-R. And what you can literally do then is scan the barcodes, and it pulls it up instantly what the level of the book is. That is such an amazing app, and it's so effective. And then if you get the bizarre book that doesn't have a registered barcode, then you can just go into search and type in the name of the book, and it'll pull up the level. So it has been a huge help, because I literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, possibly thousands of books that needed to be leveled into the new library for 1st grade. So it's been a massive undertaking, and it's taking forever just because I have so many other things going on. I'm going to go ahead though and go home today after I tidy up my desk, and hopefully I will be able to talk to you guys tomorrow. Hello, happy Tuesday. It is a little later in the day. It's actually my specials. Morning is come and gone. Lunch is come and gone. I had actually planned to vlog today. I really did. But as you guys know, teaching is a real life job, and sometimes real life gets in the way. I came in this morning, and yesterday at the end of the day in my vlog, I mentioned that doing the room tour, I realized, wow, this room's really a mess. It's getting away from me. And so I used my prep time yesterday to buckle down and really clean the room. This morning I came in, I was in my classroom an hour and a half before the bell, because I came in with a purpose of cleaning the room, and I had a giant stack of books that had been waiting to be leveled that I had yet had the chance to level. I got those leveled. They're currently in a library basket. Sorry if it's a little dark. The lights are off, but I like to turn lights off when I have like downtime, so just kind of, it's a little peaceful, a little soothing. But so it is my specials time. The kids are currently at library, and I am here, and I've just been getting some work done today. I did, really, honestly, we've just had some normal lessons today. We did Reader's Workshop, we did our math lesson today, we played a game called Penny Plate Addition, or Penny Plate. If you do everyday math, 1st grade, that's a game where you have 10 pennies, you put some under the plate, some on the plate, and the other kids have to guess how many pennies are under the plate once they count the ones on top, knowing there's 10 in all. It sounds like such an easy game. It's surprisingly hard though for a lot of my 1st graders, because a lot of them are new to English. This is true, but I also have 7 kids in this room. Is it 6 or 7? It's 6 or 7 who have never been in school before, ever. They are refugees, new to the country, and this is their first experience in school. That was another part of what made the beginning of this year so challenging. They didn't understand the concept of, I need you to sit down now, I need you to listen now, this is, we're going to take turns now. They had no experience in a school setting whatsoever. One thing I want to show you real quick that I love in my room, up here on the ceiling, I strung a bunch of lights up here, and I just kind of like outlined the room going around, and I love the way it looks, because as you guys know, I don't like the overhead lights, and I do have lamps in the classroom. I have one there, one here, and of course I have my little table light, but it's not always enough, especially on a day where it's cloudy outside. If it's a sunshine day, there's plenty of light. But on a day when it's cloudy, I just needed a little more light than what I had. And so I strung these up, and I love them. I really, really do. In fact, I think I am probably going to get a few more strands and run them like along, making almost like a tic-tac-toe pattern on the ceiling. And I figure once I get a few more lights up there, I won't ever even have to use the overhead lights at all. I do still have over my lights the filters, and because I have been using the overhead lights, so they're on quite a bit, but when I can, I'll turn them off and we just use the fairy lights. And I will say the filters, if you're on the fence about buying those draped filters that cover your UV lights overhead, buy them. I have had 0 migraines this year. This is the 6th week of school for me, and migraine free. That is unheard of. Usually I get 1 to 2 migraines a week at work. None so far this year. And that also lets me know that my migraines are not caused by stress. Because a lot of times you think, oh, I have a migraine, I'm so under stress. Trust me, I have been stressed out this year. I have been extremely stressed out this year. Apparently it really was the lights causing the migraines, because even with all the stress that I've been under trying to meet all these needs and help all these little ones, I've had no migraines. So look into those light covers. They are worth it, every penny. With that said, right now I do need to get to work in here because I need to set up for our our science lesson. We are literally doing our very first science lesson today. And I know what you're thinking. What? It's week 6 and you're doing your very first science lesson? Yes, it has been that crazy in here. And I don't feel too bad because I've talked to the other first grade teacher and she's in the same boat I'm in, because her class has a makeup very similar to mine. She doesn't have a child with Down syndrome, but she has other issues in there. She has a few behavior problems. And so it's just been such an unusual start to the year this year that yes, today we are doing science for the first time. I have been teaching social studies. In fact, we've been focusing on reading, writing, math, and social studies. I'm getting science in today, and I'm actually excited about it because I love teaching science. It's been really hard to get it in so far. So I am going to turn this off. Sorry this vlog for today has been short. Hopefully I can check in a little later, but yeah, I need to get back to work. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Today is October something. 11th. It's October 11th. Woo! So I am currently putting some things away yesterday and today in an attempt to make this room less crazy. I have been trying to move my 4th grade materials home. So I have first graders this year, and so I've been calling the other teachers to say, can I borrow a couple of your 4th graders? Because last year when I had 4th graders, if you needed something taken to the car, it was like no big deal. You just gave your car keys to one of the students and said, go stick this in my trunk. And they would lock it, and they were great. You can't do that with first graders. So I have been borrowing my former partner teacher students a couple of times yesterday and today. And I've had them making runs to my car because there's just too much in this room. One of the differences between first grade and 4th grade is that first grade has more stuff. It just does. Because they have shorter attention spans and because they have shorter time spans for completing tasks, you do more tasks throughout the course of the day. And so first grade just has a lot more stuff than 4th grade did. So I brought all my first grade materials back to school at the end of last year, and I took some of my 4th grade materials home and stuck them in the basement. But I still had a lot of stuff here, more stuff than I even realized that was 4th grade materials taking up space. So little by little, I'm getting those materials out of the room. I am not throwing anything away. I'm not giving anything away because the 4th grade materials I had were only 3 years old, and I loved everything. I only, last year, because of the minimalism I adopted, I only had materials in my classroom that I absolutely loved. And if there's one piece of advice I can give you as a teacher or a soon-to-be teacher, don't throw away your materials. Don't give them away, because you will teach many, many grade levels in the course of your career. I've taught first grade for several years. Then I went to Title I for several years. Then I went to fourth grade for a year. Then I went to fifth grade for 2 years. Then I went on maternity leave. I came back, taught first grade, second grade, first grade, second grade, first grade, second grade. Then I went to fourth grade for 3 years. Now I'm back in first grade. You will change grade levels based on enrollment. You will change grade levels based on your own desire. You will change grade levels based on, there were years where I started the year as in one grade level, and by October, due to low enrollment, they shut my classroom down and put me in a different grade level in another building. And I literally had 3 hours to relocate myself and all my stuff, because I had to report. They shut me down. They told me like on Thursday they were going to shut me down. And on Friday, I literally was calling my father and my sister to come to my classroom, because I still had students. I was still teaching that day. And my father and my sister moved everything I owned to the new building, up 3 flights of stairs, God bless them. And after school Friday at 3 o'clock, I went to the other building and worked there from 3 until they kicked me out at like 6:30, and set up my classroom so that I would be ready to go Monday morning in a new classroom, a new building, and a new grade level. So yes, things that you love, hold on to them. Put them in the basement, put them in a back bedroom that nobody's using, but don't throw your materials away, because I know last year I actually did give away some of my first grade materials, because it was like, guys, I'm never teaching first grade again. I'm not going to. I just don't want to. Here I am, literally like 9 months later, I'm in first grade. So yeah, you just don't know. Keep your stuff if it's high quality stuff. If it's something that you had for 3 years in that grade level and you never used it, yeah, pitch that. You don't need it. I'm gonna stop talking though, because I got here a little late today. It is pouring the rain outside, just pouring. So my drive in today took even longer. So I actually have very little time to get things going before my munchkins walk in the room. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday. I want to apologize for not vlogging more on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I can't lie. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be a vlogger. Tuesday night, I left here. I went home. I had to cook dinner. I had to tidy up the house. I had laundry to do. I was ironing clothes until like 9:30 Tuesday night. Yesterday, Wednesday, I realized I had not done my progress reports. My district is in the process of changing the way we do report cards. So we were told, don't do your grades yet. Don't do your grades yet. Don't do your grades yet. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Well, it's not coming soon enough. So yesterday I'm at work and I realized, holy crap. Tomorrow is progress reports, not report cards, but progress reports. And I had graded papers, but I had graded them in a way different than what I would usually grade papers. So technically all of those papers needed to be gone back over and transferred to a different grade. I had not set up the online grade book yet because it was supposed to change. Well, every year you have to set up your grade book, and that usually takes about 45 minutes to set all that up and get all of the requirements and your categories in and different things like that. So it was like, okay, fine, I'll get all that done. And then yesterday at about 9 o'clock in the morning, I get an email saying, don't forget to put in for a sub for your all-day conference meeting. As you guys may remember from last year, I am on the ELA curriculum committee. Well, we have not had a committee meeting yet this year. And I'm like, oh my God, did I miss an email? Why did I not know we were having a meeting? So right away, I put in for a substitute teacher to cover the classroom because of my student makeup this year and some of my special needs. I need to have a sub in here. I need to have incredibly detail-oriented lesson plans, sub plans set up. And so I go into full-scale panic mode. And now getting the work done for progress reports got totally pushed on the back burner. That all became homework. So now I'm putting in for a sub. I'm filling out a conference day form request. I immediately get to work. I'm putting together sub plans. I basically tell my first graders, sit down, do reader's workshop. I'm not working with you today. I got stuff to do, which is no for a teacher. I don't like to do that. But at that moment, I was in full-scale panic mode. So I'm working on sub plans. I'm trying to find independent work that's sub-friendly, because a lot of the things we do in class is not sub-friendly. It's too specific. It's too detail-oriented. So I'm trying to work on that. And then about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, here comes the email. Sorry, disregard this email. It was sent to the wrong group of people. It was supposed to go to the math curriculum committee. And I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I didn't get a full lunchtime yesterday because it was pouring the rain, so we had indoor recess. I didn't get my prep time yesterday because the substitute didn't show for the gym teacher. Yesterday was a day where every single thing that could go wrong went beyond wrong. I mean, it was just like yesterday my day went into the toilet. It just did. And then I had a student in here, this is trivial, but I had a student in here who would keep peeing on the floor. And I'll be honest, this was bad on my part, but I thought it was one of my boys. I really did, because I just thought it was one of the boys who was tinkling on the floor. Come to find out, it was actually one of my children who speaks zero English. And so, because I had gotten like paranoid, I was like, every time a student would go to the bathroom, I'd pop my head in the bathroom, like, okay, is there pee on the floor? No pee on the floor. Okay, we're good. Next kid goes to the bathroom. I'm back in the bathroom. No pee on the floor. And so finally, we figured out who was peeing on the floor. And it was literally a child who just didn't know. And I'm like, I don't know why she didn't know. I mean, I know she's new to the country. I know she doesn't speak English. I always have to talk to her through a translator. One of my students in here speaks English and her language, thank God. But yeah, I mean, a zero English child in here just didn't know how to use the bathroom. So that problem got fixed. I had my student show her with clothes on, obviously, but show her what to do and tell her what to do. Yeah, I'm having a very bizarre year. And so then last night I went home and I had to cook dinner. And then my kids were like, oh, salad again. Because I'm trying to eat healthier. There was actually something I planned on talking about a lot this school year, was my journey of getting healthier. And just let you guys know, I am down 17 pounds. While I would love to celebrate that, and I am proud of 17 pounds, I still have many to go. And I'm not dieting because I want to be skinny. No, it's got nothing to do with being skinny. I've never been a skinny person. I don't even have a desire to be a skinny person. I just want to be healthier, and I want to feel good in my own skin. So that is my goal. It has nothing to do with fashion. It has nothing to do with having a hot bod. It is just that I want to be a healthy person, and I want to feel comfortable in my own skin, and I want to be able to walk into any store there is and buy clothing in that store. Not have to go to certain stores because they sell clothes big enough to fit me. I want to be able to shop anywhere, and I just want to be comfortable. So yes, I am on a diet mission, and maybe in another video I'll share with you the products I've been using, because I've been trying to diet unsuccessfully for 3 years. Right now I'm on a diet that's like the easiest diet I've ever done in my entire life. I'm never hungry, I'm never hangry, I'm never grumpy. Yeah, it's been super easy diet, and I can go on like this forever. But so anyway, another story. So the boys are like, Mom, healthy dinner again. We don't want to eat this. And I'm just like, eat it. Eat the dinner and shut up. Yes, I told my boys to shut up. I don't care. I don't care. I was already having a really bad day. I was in a really bad mood. Everything went wrong. And then I get dinner served, and I immediately just have to go to the basement and start working on schoolwork. And I was in my basement from like 6 p.m. until 9:30 last night, doing schoolwork, printing progress reports, getting grades in the grade book, printing a few things off because my printer here died. I think it needs a new ink cartridge, so I just have to order a new one of those because the district doesn't supply them anymore. So I need to buy one of those. And I came upstairs and I took a shower, washed, dried my. This is how tired I was last night. Usually taking a shower, washing, that's something that's enjoyable. Last night I was just like, oh God, one more thing to do. I gotta wash and dry my hair. I mean, it's just, that was the mind frame I was in. And while I was in the shower, my husband put Casey to bed. And it hit me that I had only spent like 3 minutes all day with Casey. 3 minutes of quality time with my littlest one. And AJ, the only conversation I had with AJ was to literally have an argument because I wasn't in the frame of mind to truly deal with AJ's issue at that moment. And so it's almost time for bed. I go sit in the living room and I just had a full-scale panic attack, which I hadn't had one of those in a while. It had been a really long time since I'd had one of those. Probably over a year. But so having a panic attack, and it's like hitting me that, I'm still pretty young. My son, Casey's 10, and if I'm going to teach until he graduates college, I've got 12 more years of this. And the thing of it is I started this job when I was 19 years old because the whole time I was in college, I was a paraprofessional. Then I subbed for a short time and I got contracted right away. So if you go from the age of 19, I have already spent 26 years doing this job, working here. And I got 12 more to go. And I don't know. Last night, that knowledge bomb was just like more than I could handle. And I am sorry. I don't even. Wow. Yeah, it was just. Whew. I love teaching. I do, even though at the moment it may not look like it. I love teaching. But when you're an inner city teacher, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on. You have a lot of expectations and a lot of demands. And you're supposed to reach bars of excellence that are astronomically high. And the fact of the matter is, I'm going to work my butt off this year. I am going to work incredibly hard because I love my job and I love my students. But at the end of the day, because of the language barriers, because of the social economic issues, because of what came to me and where our starting point is, and the expectation for where they're supposed to be when they walk out these doors at the end of the year, we're not going to get there. I could put in 20 hours of work a day. I'm already working about 16 hours a day. And we're never going to reach those goals. And then at the end of the year, when you don't reach those goals, you're basically told you're a bad teacher.
That's all you hear from Congress and from politicians and our governor, you know, lazy teachers who just don't want to work harder. And, yeah, as much as I love teaching, there are times when this job sucks. And it's frustrating. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I can't believe I'm actually vlogging this right now. I don't even know if I'll put this up because it may be too much for YouTube to handle. Because one of the things you guys always say is that, you know, I'm always happy. Sometimes that happiness is an illusion. You know, when you're a YouTuber, you only want to share the best. You only want people to see the good stuff. But I'm not in that mental place right now. So I'm going to pull myself together. I'm going to put a smile on my face. I'm going to get ready for the day. And I'm going to work my ass off. And I'm going to give it everything I've got. And that's the best I can do. That's all I can do, is give it the best I've got. I'll talk to you later.
It is lunchtime. My munchkins are gone. Also, just to give you guys a heads up this year, I will not be using my children in my videos this year. Last year with fourth graders and even the year before that, parents were more comfortable and they all signed off on the permission slips for filming. And then I did have an incident last year where a lady in Kentucky sent my principal a letter for some reason saying I was, you know, exposing the children inappropriately, but I had parental permission. But with first graders, parents are a lot more leery, and which understandably so. You know, the first graders are still babies. Let's be honest, they are still babies. Also, I'm in a better frame of mind than I was this morning. I apologize. Sometimes life just gets to be too much, and you hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in, and then it all comes out in one big long word vomit. And yeah, that's what happened this morning. I am better now. I want to share with you real quick before I eat my food what we did for math today. I am sure a lot of you, especially if you've been around for a long time, have seen these. Color It on the Hundreds chart by Marcy Cook. These are, let me turn this around so I can see this better. This is an amazing resource, and inside, I'll show you to the back here, at the end, you basically use a hundreds chart to make pictures or spell words and different things. And the kids love these, and it has directions. Put a, color 2 less than 3 tens, between all the numbers between 30 and 50 with a 2 in the ones place. These directions are way too advanced right now for my little firsties. However, what I did today was I literally picked a picture and wrote down all the numbers it would take to make that picture. And then I just said the numbers out loud. Put a square on 74. Put a square on 27. And that was hard because I am still doing a lot of work here with just number sense and having a good foundation with the numbers. Half my class know their numbers up to 120 just fine. The other half of my class, no. Most of them are good up to 20. Most of them. But even there, I have about 6 or 7 kids who struggle a lot with teens. So what I have these charts right here, a hundreds chart. I got these from an in-service training I went to, and I love these. And unfortunately, they're a little too big to laminate with my home laminator. So what I might do is actually send these out to our PRC and let the PRC laminate them, because already one of them got ripped today and I was not happy about that. But so these are just big enough to fit color tiles in there. It holds the color tiles perfectly. So this way, instead of always having to run off coloring ones for coloring, And if the kids make a mistake, they can't erase the coloring. We build the pictures with our color tiles. Today, we just did the one that spelled the word hi. But they were all excited, and about 2/3 of the class actually got the picture. So they were really excited. Miss Bietler, I got it, because first graders get really excited like that. So I'm gonna go eat my lunch though, because I am starving. And I just realized I never ate my breakfast today. I was too busy to eat my breakfast. That's not good, because that actually works against the diet. So talk to you soon. Good morning, happy Friday. Woohoo! End of the week. I am so happy it's Friday. It has been a very long and a little bit of a brutal week for me. I'm happy it's over, or soon to be over. Today is also a shorter day for us. Our Fridays are still our PLC days, which means the end of the day is at 2 o'clock for students, and at the end we have a staff meeting or PLC meetings with our grade level groups to work on the different things we work on. I am in a better frame of mind today than I was yesterday. I apologize for the little mini nervous breakdown that happened yesterday. What can I say? Sometimes these things happen. So I was able to pull it together though and have a good day with the students yesterday, although one of my little darlings did get himself suspended yesterday. I don't know, he just kind of walked in a weird mood, and he was having a difficult time keeping his hands and his teeth to himself. So, but today it's going to be a great day. I want to turn the camera on and show you a few of the things that I'm working on and a few different strategies that I'm using this year. One thing I want to show you guys that I did, in the back of most of your consumable math books, there's usually these cardstock pages that you have to tear out, and you then proceed to use those pages for multiple lessons. But the problem is that usually by the end of the very first lesson, with one of the tear outs from the back of your math book, they're already looking beat up, they've been scribbled, and they're worn out. So I literally tore mine out yesterday, took them home, and ran them through a laminator. They are now protected, and these will last me hopefully all year, because initially we are starting off with a single 10 frame activities, but then when you flip it over to the back, you have your double 10 frames. And if these last all year, I may even save them for next year if they survive, or maybe next year when the new school year starts and we have new math books, maybe I only need to take 10 of them and run them through a laminator, and we'll have them all year. I am really big on time saving. This is my first year back in first grade after a while, and a lot of the things are different from the last time I was in first grade. And so the first year you're in a grade level, it's always the hardest. The second year, the third year, everything gets easier and easier and easier, because by those upcoming years, you've had time to make the things that you know you're going to need again and again and again. So this way, next year, it's one less thing you have to do. It gets easier every year. Another thing I am making this year are these folders. I'll turn this around. These are going to be our reading mats for Reader's Workshop. And this was an idea I got when I was in Lansing. Theirs were not quite as fancy or as elaborate as mine. They basically had a start, stop, repeat thing in here. But I went ahead and made these. On the front of my folder is an alphabet card where you have all of the letters and pictures and initial sounds and words on them. Inside, I have here one of our favorites. Hello, will you please read us again? And then here it says thank you. And then here we have blends and digraphs. So there's your initial blends along with some words and pictures. And on the very back are our word detective strategies for first grade. Eagle eyes, lips of fish, stretchy snake, chunky monkey, flippy dolphin, skippy frog, trying lion, and ask yourself, does it make sense? Does it sound right? Does it look right? These things this is from Deanna Jump, who is probably the most famous TPTer ever. And then this one was a freebie that I found on TPT. This was also a freebie that I found on TPT. If I can remember, I'll try to link these in the description box below. And then these I got from Google. I have this book. I've bought this book. But the children like it, and I just thought, this way, the purpose of the mat, when they first pick up their box of books, okay, let's just pick up a student's books here. What they're going to do is they take their books and they stack them right here on this side of the mat. And then as they read a book, it gets moved to this side of the mat. Then they read it and move it to this side of the mat. And eventually, once they are completely done with this side, their job is to then start all over and work back to this side. It's just a visual tool to keep them motivated, help with their stamina, and to keep them focused. It's almost an organizational tool. And then in here they also have their post-it notes. This child does not have a pencil in here. But it's a way to get them to read everything in their bucket, and then this will then stay in their buckets all year long. I don't have them all finished yet. When these came back from the PRC, which is our service here that makes our copies, does our laminating, they ran them through 2 at a time through the machine. The row on the left came out perfectly laminated, completely sealed. The row on the right, they missed like 1 whole inch of all the folders. Didn't even get in the lamination, and because it didn't get in the lamination on the folders didn't actually melt and seal and shut it. So unfortunately, I had to send that whole row on the left side back to the PRC for them to run it through the laminator again, which is a bummer, because this is one of those things where I really should have had these ready to go by the 2nd week of school, not the 6th week of school. But again, it's just one of those situations where I've just had so much going on that it's taken me a while to get things organized and up and running this year. Not to mention the first 2 weeks of school, 3 weeks of school, it was really more about ABCs. I've actually been doing a lot of direct instruction in here, which, as you guys know, if you've been following me on YouTube, that's not my teaching style. It's really not my style of teaching to just have them all sit down and listen to me. That's not the way I do things. However, one of the things you have to do as a teacher is you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to recognize the situation for what it is. You need to make decisions on the fly, and you have to do what you have to do to accommodate your students. So I've actually been pulling a lot of things from Project Read. I've been pulling a lot of things from the reading series. A lot of my students in here who are new to the country didn't have concepts of print, or they had concepts of print, but it was in their own language. Arabic is a language that is literally read in reverse from English. In English, we go left to right. In Arabic, it's literally right to left. And you will see that in the writer's workshop. A lot of my students are writing in reverse because they're writing the way they've been taught at home or in Arabic school. So I've had to do a lot of direct instruction, a lot of modeled lessons, and I'm projecting like the little stories that come with the reading series up onto the smartboard, and I'm using a pointer and we're modeling together, going left to right. We're discussing what is punctuation, and these are all things that I would have taught as a first grade teacher anyway. But I find that I'm having to do some concepts of print in an accelerated fashion that, things are feeling a little rushed in here because I'm trying to build those foundation skills that a lot of my children did not come to me with. So that's where the mats are coming in. And yes, another thing I want to share with you guys, science. I am actually abandoning the first science we were supposed to be doing this year. The first science unit we are supposed to do in first grade is called Tools, and it's a pretty content heavy unit, and I did a few lessons in here. It's more than they can handle right now. Again, it's a lack of background information. It's a lack of maturity on my students' parts. They're just not mature enough to handle that content matter. And I was talking to my partner teacher in first grade, and she was basically having the same issues. We were trying to teach the Tools unit, but they weren't getting it, and the lessons were failing. So I basically said, you know what? Why are we trying to force a square block into a round hole at the moment? At this moment in time, they are not ready for this concept. Who says we have to teach it first? So I literally packed that unit away, and I pulled out the next science unit, which is life science, which is animals. Animals and body covering and adaptations and, necessity, needs, things like that. This is something that they all will have some background information on. Kids love animals, and I think this will be a much better fit for them. And even still, I am supplementing the actual science unit. It's October. We're going to have, if you followed me last year, I actually did this with my fourth graders last year, but I did it much more in depth. So I have my Bats A to Z book. I have my Stellaluna book. In here, one of the first things that starts off is it must be a bird with feathers and things. And there is bats talked about in here. So I'm going to start off with my lovely little reading books. Also in October for us, we have our Scholastic newspaper, What is a Flying Fox? It's all about bats and their different body parts and their habits. There was a few worksheets that came with it, which we would do together since this would be too hard for my children. And then I found this on TPT, and I thought this was adorable, all about bats and birds. And it's a booklet that has actually a lot of content in it. But it's a nice bold print. We can talk about it, we can read it, and these actually meet the first grade skill or core items, whatever the standards, sorry. And at the same time, though, it's not just work. They will be learning large vocabulary words, but it also has the pictures. This whole side gets chopped off. I'll cut this off with my butcher block, and then they will cut and color these pictures to then add to the definitions and the paragraphs inside the book. I thought these were adorable. It's a fun book. It's cutting and coloring and gluing, but it's also content heavy. You don't want to do color, cutting, and gluing just for the sake of color, cutting, and gluing. If you're going to do that, fine, but make sure it's embedded in content that's actually in your standards. So I love this little book. I thought it was perfect. And then there's another thing in here that I don't know. Oh, where is it? Okay, and yes, I apologize. Believe it or not, I had this clean. I admit it. My desk is a hot mess again. I feel like that's the story of my year. How did 2017, 2018 go? It was a great year, but my desk was a hot mess all year. I can't keep it clean, people. I can't keep it clean. All right, where is it? I had it here. Oh, come on. Anyway, I have the pieces necessary to make a big, beautiful, aha, here we go, I found it, woohoo. we're going to make a big class size Venn diagram with this picture, and we have the bats, and then it had little cutouts to put into the Venn diagram that we will make on butcher paper. And again, it's got the content in there: hatchling, pup, hibernate, mammals, migrate, fur, eggs, live babies, feathers. So I'm hitting all the content, but we're going to do it in a fun way, which the kids are going to enjoy. And if the kids are having fun, they learn more. So as a teacher, you're going to usually walk into a building and they're going to say, here's your curriculum. Do this. Follow this. And you can do that. That's fine. And usually if you're a brand new teacher, you kind of do, because you're still finding your way. But once you have a few years under your belt, you're going to be given a curriculum. You're going to look at it. You're going to go, okay. And then you're going to find you're going to find your own way to teach that content. You're going to teach the content. You're going to cover that content. You're going to do your hands-on activities, but you're also going to do it in a way that fits your teaching style and will fit the needs of the students in your class. Because at the end of the day, it's not just teach this. At the end of the day, it's what do they need? That's your job, to figure out where your kids are and how you're going to get them from point A to point B. So I'm going to stop talking now, though, and hopefully I will check in with you guys again later. Back again, it is lunchtime. I just finished scarfing my food down, and I had a quick little meeting with my partner teacher. We got a little work done. I wanted to show you my students' writing we did this week, because honestly, it came out really, really cute. I was just excited. We are doing what is essentially Lucy Calkins writing. And I'm not knocking Lucy. She's got it down when it comes to Writer's Workshop and things like that. But at the same time, sometimes in my room, I struggle with small moments, because we want the kids to write about their small moments. You know, write about their real stories, what's happened to them, and things like that. But for a lot of my kids, they run out of ideas to write about really, really fast, because this is an inner city school and this is a very impoverished district. So that's a knock at the door. Hold on. Someone brought me celery for the kids for snack time today. So as I was saying, though, this is a very impoverished district. So a lot of things that you may just take for granted, my students don't have experience doing that. I'm taking them to a cider mill / pumpkin patch hayride next week for a field trip. And they will do that next week. But a lot of these kids, if you tell them to write about the time they've gone to the cider mill or the pumpkin patch, they have no clue what you're talking about. These children have not been to a petting farm. These kids have not been to the zoo. A lot of these children have never actually been in a movie theater. They've watched movies at home. A lot of them will have Netflix, but to go to a movie theater, something that's not a big deal, they don't do that. A lot of these children don't go to the malls. Now, if you ask for by the time they went to the dollar store, they can write, pages and pages and pages of going to the dollar store. And again, I'm not knocking the dollar store. I'm a teacher. We shop the dollar store. We shop the dollar store a lot. Yay, dollar store. But small moments is hard for these kids. And then when you try to explain them that, something as simple as going to bed at night is a small moment. They just want to write, I went to bed. And so I'm trying to stretch it out with them, well, what do? We brush our teeth. And then half of them will say, no. I'm like, I think you do. I think you brush your teeth. We get a drink of water. We get tucked in by our parents. We maybe have a bedtime story. So I'm trying to pull small moments out of them. But a lot of my little munchkins are just lacking in those experiences that a lot of programs just take for granted that your kids have. So Plus, we've also been working on small moments now for multiple weeks. We've run out of ideas. They got a little bored with small moments. So luckily, though, I think next week I'm starting the next unit, and I'm really hoping and praying the next unit's not small moments. But so I decided I'm chucking small moments this week, and we were actually going to have a little fun. So on Tuesday, I read the book, How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight? And the kids absolutely love this book. A couple of them had seen it from kindergarten, but it is an absolutely adorable book. Does a dinosaur slam his tail and pout? Does he throw his teddy bear all about? Swing his neck from side to side, and then you see a good little dinosaur. So the kids absolutely loved this book. They loved it so much that on Wednesday, I read to them, How Do Dinosaurs Go to School? And again, it starts off with the dinosaurs being very bad and naughty. And in the end, you find out, no, a dinosaur would never, ever do that. Dinosaurs always behave, and they help each other out, and they growl at the bullies and tidies his desk. And so the kids were loving these books. That was when I had I won't call it a stroke of genius, because let's be real, it's not a stroke of genius. It was just an idea. We are going to write about a dinosaur. We are going to make dinosaur stories. If you could do anything at all with a dinosaur, he's not going to eat you, and he won't eat your parents. What do you want to do with the dinosaur? And right away they're like, oh, I want to go to the park with the dinosaur. I want him to sleep in my bed. I want him to do this. I want to go to the movies with the dinosaur. I want to, go down the street riding the back of my dinosaur. My dinosaur and I are going to have a tea party. So they just got really, really motivated. And their dinosaur stories actually came out adorable. This is some of the absolute best writing, and they wrote so much because it was a topic that they were actually really excited to write about. It was fun, and they got into it. Whereas the rest of the year, I have struggled to get these little ones to give me, 5 words on a piece of paper, and suddenly they were writing in complete sentences and just had fun with it. And I mean, it was just a successful lesson. And was it on the curriculum? No, it wasn't. And yet I think this was the most successful writing lesson I've had this whole school year, because I got them really motivated, really pumped up. I built a foundation of knowledge to pull from, and we just had fun with it. And I think this is one of those things that the politicians and the book companies and all those people who are in positions of power that make decisions about my job fail to realize. You can beat these kids with curriculum on the head day after day after day after day. But if you don't make it fun, it ain't happening. It's just not happening. I am going to go ahead and end this vlog on a high note right there. I will probably not be vlogging the rest of today because I don't have any more specials. My specials already come and gone. I didn't vlog during special. I didn't have time. And at the end of the day, we do have a PLC meeting, and then I have to rush home because we're celebrating AJ's birthday today, even though his birthday is actually tomorrow. He turns 17. Happy birthday, AJ. And then tomorrow we have a wedding. So yeah, busy weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my highs and lows this week. Hopefully the highs outshine the lows. If you want to see more for the future, click that subscribe button. And if you have a comment on this, or if you want to share, if you're having a rough start to the year, feel free to moan and groan in the comment box below, and I will talk to you down there. Talk to you later.